meta, and now again returning as main tank for the squad. We're gonna have bans on Braxis and Tomb, and we will be starting with a macro map here for Supernova, Dragonshire.
Dragonshire, a big map to start off, and neither of the teams really like to play Dehaka solo. It is mostly going to be who gets Blaze first, and then maybe something else to rotate. Maybe they will try to rotate around with Dehaka, but even when they picked Dehaka, they were not really using it as a global, actually joining the team fight way too early all the time. So for the global side, neither teams are really on top of things. So maybe just focusing on the team fight control, that seems like a better way of drafting into Dragonshire.
It's a good point. And remember, Blaze has had the utmost priority of solo laners in this meta, as we see the Maiev ban come through. When you know these things about weak macro play and weak rotations for these two teams that are known more for team fighting and collapsing, then that's when the Blaze priority rises, right? Because when you're so dependent on team fighting, you'd think you need to make sure that you get Blaze against that, right? But we're going down the macro path instead. Despite what you've said, Supernova's clearly been preparing, trying to adapt, trying to improve their macro. Not only do they pick the Hawk in first rotation, but they chose this map that's so macro dependent.
Yep, they certainly have a plan, and against Malfivia, insta-pick, of course, Garrosh, and also Dehaka, a little bit surprising, as I just pointed out. They were really lacking in global, but that was 2 months ago. Entirely 2 months ago, almost 62 days. So maybe they could have been working out this thing. And Feliz, they have to really, if they want to test some global effect for their team with their own skill ability that they can actually macro, Feliz is a good team to actually challenge for them.
So you talked about Feliz's drafting ability and how they were able to defeat ILLL with that drafting ability. And this is, again, showing, I think, full meta understanding. Malfurion first pick into best burst mage in the meta, and Blaze, who can counter any sort of other burst mage that might come on the other side. And on top of that, you have a powerful solo laner that can deal with Dehaka in the 1v1 matchup, and you've removed Blaze from, being banned in the second rotation. It's Johanna who's taken away instead. But you've gotten everything that is meta and S tier already. So Feliz is, I think, completely leading this draft right now against a team that's not known for macro play with the Dehaka pick.
It is not bad for, it is not bad for Supernova, just because they already picked their Garrosh in the solo lane against Blaze, which should be okay in terms of the macro for themselves. It seemed like they were planning on it and just giving out Jaina and Blaze for the opponent. That should have been just given and very predicted from Supernova too. So they banned out Johanna as well because they already had their own tank. But really, after MSP, just every team focusing on the mages so far.
It's super important to remember the Johanna ban, though, because the Leaning ban is safe, and they're worried about burst, and they took the Blaze as well. But I think Tracer is still potentially viable here with a double support composition. They're going to go for the Phoenix pick, which became relevant, really, at the end.
Stat, double global for them.
Oh boy. Well, here's the Zeratul coming in. So double global, as you say, really playing up the macro, which again goes against everything we knew about this team.
But against the Zeratul, which Feliz did play a few times, not too many. I think they really watched a lot of the Misses and Brawl games, and Decker just to finish off with the support. But can they really keep up with double global? That will be the question. Feliz not really good with the macro. And Supernova, known as a team to compare to all the open division, because they have no chat just shot calling every single time, they're actually a step further than the newer teams.
I think, personally, no chat will have to control the macro in this game. If they cannot macro well, if they cannot control the pressure in the top lane to control the shrines and control objectives, in team fighting they will have so many problems. But they're playing to the map. They're not playing to what their perceived strengths are based on open division, like you said. But if they can control the map, this draft can work well. But if they fail to do so, Deckard Cain is not going to save you against the burst damage that comes out from Zeratul and Jaina. Blaze having the ability to CC as well. There's so many setups to where Feliz just crushes what Supernova has in team fights. Even though Phoenix and Falstad both have the ability to escape.
You can get some damage off for Supernova. For right now, and it should be a lot stronger in the late game, and even more if they control the macro as well. Even if they're behind, they have lots of methods to just save their teammate and also catch the macro with the global ability of Dehaka and also Falstad. So Feliz, it'll be all for the team fight. They're really heavily focusing, but Supernova, they don't even have to fight. They can just global this one out if they're super confident about it.
That's what they need to do. As Alex preps the potions here as they carefully move forward, respecting the CC that Hanaten could put out here with this Blaze pick. Gonna go ahead and clear waves, trading. Very much a less common thing in, I'd say, the top level across all regions to level 1 team fight like this. They want to try to catch Jaina, but will be unsuccessful. In terms of the 4-man, the wave clear is insane for Supernova, and they have the Dehaka pick at the top to macro well, so the early game, as long as they don't make any mistakes, I think should definitely be in control by them.
And also because there is the big threat for Falstad, which is Zeratul, that's Aimer right there. Just roaming around a little bit, make sure he's not seen too much, which will be a problem for NoChat. That's why he was actually staying in that format, because they were not getting any vision of Zeratul for that time being. Now he's moving on to the bottom lane, but let's see how long he can actually stay there.
Really quick rotation to the camp here from Supernova as well. As you can see, it's going to be a 2-man here for Feliz. They have the better burst. End up taking more damage while doing this, but they will get the camp first. It's going to be timed about even. Let's see how Feliz deals with this, because we've seen a lot of teams in the international scene really pick up what we've seen from in the past teams like L5, TNL, and now of course Ballistics, and MVP Black would wait to clear and then send the camp. Both teams staying at the same time. Let's see how they react. Big commitment up here from Feliz. They really want this camp to gain value.
Lightly baiting it, but great dodge. And Kirisaku wants to turn this around. Jaina a little bit caught up. Blaze comes just in time to block that drag. Nicely done.
And with the globals, you know, it's easy to counter-rotate like this. And even though there's the threat of Zeratul in the bot lane, Falstad's fine. He's at full health. He's not overextending. He has barrel roll. He's not going past the mid lane. So he's actually winning the lane down there. They win the Knights up here. And the globals are making the impact that Supernova was looking for in this early game. And Feliz has been unable to fight. They're looking for a pick here again with this burst. But it's just going to be unsuccessful. In fact, there's the counter.
Against Garrosh, Jaina, the reason why Jaina was played so many times, because not just because of Garrosh, but you need that burst to break through the armor to get the kill even with the Tracer. And Jaina could actually survive pretty well. Even if she dies, she puts out burst damage and then die at least. So it doesn't really cost you that much. And you have to do really well to bring her down in a way that Dutu is not really known as a player that plays the mages all the time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. He's more of a consistent, long-term damage player. Like he plays the ADs, he plays the Valet, the Tracer,
or Phoenix.
The Phoenix, the Rainer. You know, I mean not the Rainer, but
Rainer coming soon. TM
Hanzo. You know, the slower sustained damage, not the burst damage. You're absolutely right. That's actually a fantastic point I hadn't really thought about. So he's not really well versed at it, and they haven't been able to find a single pick yet.
Which I was really worried at first when we came in, because he's playing Jaina, not like a Vala, and they don't really have any range consistent damage like with the auto attacks. But with the interview, nice kill onto the false that was going to just roll away, but got caught with the aimer. But continuing on my point, they actually had an interview a couple days ago, and he was saying that he was really feeling well, just continuing with the team, and team is really trusting him with his damage from the back line. And he's also trying new mages. That's what he said in the interview. Seems like he's having an okay time for now.
Certainly so. I mean, helping pick up that kill onto NoChat in the mid lane was really important, because it allowed them to open up the top lane and grab a shrine. Not only that, but take the level 7 talent tier advantage. Unfortunately, during the same time, you know, they weren't able to grab any camps. They couldn't get the neutral camp. And Supernova's now caught up because they have 2 globals. Falstad's already back in the mix, already back in mid lane. Although, NoChat overextends again. Hanaten super late on the charge there, though.
It was a good try. I mean, NoChat, whenever keeping Falstad away, and if you pressure him so much, later on, he's just super cautious. You can't even go beyond the half line and actually get the HP having going super low.
The effect of Garrosh's armor there, just glaring. Meanwhile, in the top lane, a big skirmish. Dehaka crushing up there, so we'll take control of that shrine. If they lose this fight down here in the longer fight, while Jaina's on cooldown, she's gonna have some problems having to use that Nature's Cure there to cleanse, or she could have been in trouble.
Just
At any moment, no chat can fly down.
That is true, but look at the positioning in Falstad. He's not really going too far, just soaking EXP because of some ganks that happened before and he died once. So he has to be careful, and he's the one to lead the team if he dies. I mean, the atmosphere and the teammates are really landing on him to actually shot call everything, and he goes down all the time.
Dudu's caught though! Stunned!
Ooh, justice at the end of triangle. He goes down.
Yeah, it's gonna be a trade though. I said stun, I meant to say rooted, but same effect here. OJ on the chase. No chat gets out. Oh, look at this toss in. They're trying to turn this, pushing him into the turrets. Cleanse comes through, but it's too late.
Alex, look at that skill shot. He was base. He knew that toss was going to be in there somewhere. And having that skill shot even before he tossed in. Great read on the Muradin.
Very well known for his Alex Strasser play, of course, but obviously a player who's known to get into meta or non-meta supports faster than others, or new supports when they're released faster than others. Similar to how Hyde was in the past, and showing some great deckard here already. So we see level 10 is reached. It is going to be Water Elemental, so fitting for the auto attackers on the other side. Not going to go for the burst with the Void. That's just a little bit too greedy. And everything else completely standard. The isolation going to be very important in these team fights as well.
Could have been an okay pair up with the Void Prison, with the Ring of Frost. But I guess they're concerned about more long-time damage, as Deckard late game just provides good sustainability for the team.
Haven wants to go in, they're going to commit here. Oh man, the salvo's there!
And the salvo gets the kill, and also Dudu is
though.
caught there, they can't escape!
Dudu's in trouble! He's trying to get out here, the Void was so good, but it's just not going to be enough here. And in the fight, in the end, it's going to be Supernova who cleans up house, scares the tongue grab from Kurisaku. It's going to be nearly the full team wipe. The only person standing is Hanaten in the top lane. He's got some extra experience up there. Supernova only gains a small lead from this, but they will almost certainly be able to force a Dragon Knight with 2 globals on the map.
Oh man, that was outrageous even without Blaze, but 5v4 situation, but getting 2 kills. At least that was not the worst fight, as Blaze was actually having some extra soak on top.
Yeah, he got the soak, but if they lose this Dragon Knight, that's where the problem's gonna lie, right? And I think that, you know, had they rotated a little bit faster, they might have been able to get it, but they just play safe here. This is a team that's playing their very first professional match ever, with the exception of No Chat, of course. So it's one of those moments where you have to really have crisp shot calling, and maybe there's some disagreements, and No Chat says, okay, soak, let's grab this camp, you know, and let's kind of refresh here. The Void was really good to delay that fight and almost turned it for Feliz. I'd love to like watch a replay of that, because that was really well timed. It just did not end up being enough, because unfortunately Dudu was just way out of position. He was on the wrong side of the fight, so there was just no way out there. But the scrolls of sealing have been absolutely fantastic from Alex, as you said. He is really pre-placing them to make sure these roots land.
Oh yeah, just having predicted it. It's actually the points you may just be out of the line, you will still get rooted. It actually has a great hit point. Not hit point, hitbox on it. So you do have to be outside of that big triangle all the time, making sure you're not close enough to it. Got the rotation coming in for Feliz.
This is Feliz's comp is designed to do, is to collapse. But look at Haven making the perfect play, pushing OJ out. They cannot make this rotation work anymore. And look at the minimap. Double global, gaining value when you see a 4-man rotation up like this, and all they get is the top shrine. That's not enough. That pushes Supernova further ahead in terms of experience. No Chat has to gust though. Close call there.
As long as he survives, he's okay. He has the global to come back from the houses, to come back from Hall of the Storm as well. And where Heavy was standing, he was never the player to actually stay in bush like that, to actually keep his teammates safe. It seemed like overall already, from individual plays and mechanical plays, and where they're standing, look at that. These kind of stuff did not exist 2 months ago for these teams.
Oh, certainly not. This team has taken this league seriously. Void here to delay. They want to squat this, and they get it.
Oh,
the Void into Dragon Knight from Feliz. But man, Kurisaku has been absolutely dominating in terms of the 1v1 against Hanan. Did you see that tongue grab earlier? He dodges the charge with the burrow. At the end of the day, the fact that NoChat lost most of his health and couldn't control that bottom shrine is what cost him this Dragon Knight. But again, Kirisako here is just dominant. I've been watching the minimap because the Soul Lane is one of my favorite things, because usually I play Soul Lane. That's one of my favorite things to watch, is just watching moments like this. He is going to get punished for it, so I spoke too soon on that, but he has been making some outplays. Either way, this Dragon Knight has no support G-Clef and is not getting much done.
Yeah, and the support is on that Dragon Knight, so it's going to take some time. 30 seconds only, so they, instead of rotating all the way down, which takes about 17 to 20 seconds, so just pushing this top lane seems like a smart idea. They are pushing in as Malfurion at the bottom with the Dragon Knight, just buying time, making sure Phoenix stays with them.
So Feliz has caught up with this Dragon Knight. They made a few big plays, and it was all really on the back of Zeratul, so the Void that allowed them to squat the Shrine, which I don't know if I've ever seen that in pro play before, but that was really cool. If it has happened and I've missed it, my apologies, but I don't remember it happening.
Just a few times. They're very rare to see, though.
But it's super cool, because they changed it, because it used to be able to do a lot of stuff with Void. You could like Void a boss, walk in and steal it. There were a lot of things like Zeratul used to be able to do with that.
Yeah, you could Void the keep, and keep was moving sometimes, so that was also possible. But of course, fixed in game.
Yeah. So that's just a cool interaction that we got to experience. So two really big Voids coming out here on the side of Feliz. So they take the level 16 talent tier lead, but they're unable to get a fort. And we're pretty even in terms of structures now. All the cannon walls are down, I believe, except the top fort wall, I think, is not completely down, but mostly damaged. So it's a really even game that we're watching here between the rookie team Supernova and Feliz, who just, you know, barely managed to escape relegation. Two styles of play, macro versus burst. And both are finding their footing. I think in the long term, though, when the burst gets the kills and death timers get longer, Feliz is going to be able to be the winning team.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of,
not just this kind of damage, they know how to utilize their effect, their power to actually stop the global from in effect, like taking down NoChat all the time, making sure they gank into the Hakas a couple of the time, making them use the global at least by making them go hard back on with low HP, or killing them actually, getting even more value. So Feliz understanding now, both teams have upgraded so much, and for the 2 months that we did not get to see them play.
It's been, you know, a real treat to watch. We had such a long break between regular season and mid-season, and now we have a huge break. You know, then we had a break for these teams because they did not attend mid-season. So it's been over a month, like you said, nearly 2, for these squads to really up their game. And I think for Feliz, it was a motivating factor that they almost lost.
See, Falstad trying to come in as the Haka has the Broch Stalker to come down all the way.
Yep, but if he does, they're going to lose the top shrine. He's not willing to give that up right now. It's just going to be a slow rotation down from Blaze. What Feliz is trying to do, since there's no objectives really on the map, is trying to push the waves. Even though they have worse wave clear, there's grouping as 4 pushing waves, and trying to see if Supernova makes a mistake so they can grab a pick that can lead to the Dragon Knight. Because the slow play, obviously, they're always going to lose, so they actually have to be aggressive. They have to rotate as 4, and that's why they're doing that. They're caught here as 3, though. This is a scary moment because Zeratul's mid, but Supernova doesn't capitalize.
Yeah, Supernova also does not know Zeratul until now. He just appears in the mid lane. But before that, they just wanted to pressure a little bit, making sure, just testing where this Zeratul guy is. I mean, he was about to gank into top when Daka was soaking on top shrine for a second, but ended up just coming down and not really getting too much value, but that was an intense moment from the bottom side, especially, oh, Gaduda gets thrown with the taunt, and even the Falstad.
Oh, and the follow-up scroll of sealing. Falstad comes in here, salvo is used, gonna put off some damage here, but Aimer's doing some damage right now. The Void's gonna trap 2. One of his teammates, NoChat, gets over the wall, he's escaping here. Still has Gust, mind you. The bunker, but help them chase the Gust to disengage here, catching them before they get in the bunker. But Garrosh is down, trying to turn this on to OJ. They make it a trade. Another scroll of sealing here.
Aimer looking for another kill with the goes into Alex, has the potion. He's surviving with the sustain.
He's surviving, and they're actually winning the sustain war. They get the kill on Zeratul. Zeratul!
Oh my
He's dead
God!
in the grabbed Blaze and Otton's down Liu! He's not getting out of here! No chat's got him! And that was a brilliant team fight, utilizing, or really showcasing rather, the power of Dahaka in sustained fighting. The only damage they had after Jaina was dead was Zeratul, and Burden was trying his best, but the heals came through. Once the burst is gone, Deckard Cain is such a powerful healer in these moments. Now they're going to get their first Dragonite of the game, and with it, level 20.
That old man knows how to heal. He knows how to make all the potions. They're going to get that 20. As you just mentioned, look at that. Late game Deckard. So powerful with the sustain. I mean, the sustain was awesome for Feliz. For them to have all the bunker, the heals from Malfurion. Seemed like that was happening even without Dudu. They were winning. They were chasing down. But they were getting smashed by that old man.
No Chat's positioning was phenomenal as well. The fact that he could have used his Gust so many times but waited to use it. It wasn't the perfect Gust, but his patience was really something we should talk about. OJ, reduced healing here. No way he gets out. And that's another kill here onto his Muradin. Hasn't had the greatest game on it when stepping over bounds here. And this could be the Dragonite to end the game here. We're 16-15 on the game timer. And they're pushing to win with this.
Yeah, they have 20, so they're going quickly. Really see their positioning. They're already going towards the core. They want to have it. It is not wind tunnel, so maybe not, but we'll see. They're straight diving in right now.
They're going for it here. Full shield build for Phoenix. There's the Gust. It's not wind tunnel, as you say. Dragonite being focused down to Hawks inside. Stay a while and listen. Utilized here. There's a Void buying some time here, but Jaina can only do so much. Haben is trying to tank it up here at the front. He's got so much armor, 40.
But look at that sustain and the damage, just enough from the Dragonite, and that's going to be GG. Supernova takes game 1.
They had the full shield on Phoenix as well to, keep him alive. He basically has a, different version of Indestructible like Johanna has. He gets his shield popped, so he gets to do that extra damage. And they do it. They win their first game of HGC Korea, and they did it through globals. They've not only proven that they are HGC worthy, but they've also proven that their old style, their old ways are no longer true. They can play the macro game, they can play the double global, they can avoid the burst. And even though most people would have looked at Feliz's draft and said, this is the meta draft, this is the better draft, they knew how to counter it. They had a plan in mind and they executed it on their map pick. Very impressive start to the season here for Supernova.
Let's go look at the damage. And even with that, Dude actually did quite a lot of damage. See? Even if Jaina dies, does burst out the damage that she needs to do. If she survives, even better. But even before, let's provide that damage to heroes.
20k, 23k, 23.5k more healing coming from Alex than from Liu in the game as well with the Dahaka. One death on the hero, fantastic play throughout, and we have to say that No Chat made one mistake in the bottom lane, which cost them a Dragonite, but beyond that, his macro was pretty flawless. His positioning in team fights, he makes up 27.9% of the hero damage in the game, but that's not important. What's important is he keeps them ahead. He has the ability to gust to disengage. He can draw aggro and escape.
Hey, that's an MVP material. You only died once. So much damage with the siege and also control the XP. I mean, he should be the MVP for the game.
I'd upvote him, for sure. Well, actually, I'd probably upvote Alex more, but I can upvote both. They're both going to be in the score screen.
I can't upvote myself too anymore, so that's unfortunate. But I would upvote No Chat for sure, or Alex, either one. I think they played a great game of Heroes of the Storm and Dragonshire. How to really rotate that out. They had the draft in plan and actually let that happen throughout, because Feliz also had their own with the Zeratul to counter all the false set and the global. But of course, by controlling the macro, they basically won this one out, and great team fight potential as well.
Yeah, minus the I guess missed read on where Aimer was. No Chat was able to really get a lot of soak done, and they were ahead the majority of the game until that Dragonite was taken. Like, they had an experienced lead, they had map control, they did more structural damage. Kirisaku was destroying the top lane, getting so many tongue grabs. I know I always say this because we only have one observer here and we don't have like picture-in-picture or anything like that. But I'm watching the minimap and I'm seeing always. I always see. I was watching Blaze just charge away.
Jet propulsion.
away from the Dahaka multiple times in the top lane.
Blaze Burrow charging in?
Don't-
That could be crazy.
I mean, I just came back from Sweden. I was mostly on the desk there. Didn't cast that much. It feels like a long time since I've cast Here's the Storm.
It's been
So
2
sorry.
months for me, and I'm feeling great right now.
Good. You're on top of it. You're gonna keep me honest. Every time I accidentally call Deckard Cain Dahaka, and every time I say that that Blaze has Burrow Charge, we'll be good. Imagine Burrow Charge into a bunker.
I know, and then Bunker moves with him,
Oh, God.
and then you can save
And
all your
everyone's
teammates.
stunned. Everyone's stunned that gets hit by the bunker.
Okay,
Oh God. All right. Let's not think. Let's.
we can stop it here. It's been a while. and
Yeah.
we're very happy and excited to cast. Yeah, so we got fresh new clothes, so we're extra happy about that as well.
So I'm guessing we're gonna have traditional Feliz takes first pick,
Uh-huh.
and Supernova will take the map, which leads me to believe we're probably going to something like Cursed Hollow or Towers of Doom, given their playstyle on the first map and what they've clearly been trying to push as their new strength.
Yeah, and no Braxis, no Spider Queen, so maybe just Curse to test their macro out once more. Or if they don't really want to go macro, maybe just Towers of Doom. Try to steal that Dehaka away. Make sure Hanaton is not the best. He's actually a very, very safe Dehaka, so he doesn't soak as well. But
Yeah.
still, I think it's okay idea to actually take that Dehaka away after watching Kurisako play that well. And other maps are basically a lot of the macro controlled. Maybe if you want to really team fight hard, pick Shrines or Sky Temple. I think those are the favorite choices.
Yeah,
for
Sky
Feliz.
Temple's another great choice.
Mhm.
Tomb removed as well just furthers this idea of like we want to play on big maps, we want to go double global, we want to avoid team fights, we want to avoid the burst meta. I mean, Feliz's draft was straight out of Midseason Brawl. We've seen it from Tempo Storm, we've seen it from Genji, we've seen it from Dignitas.
Yes.
It was the meta draft. We saw some echoes of Falstad and Phoenix at the end. Genji, obviously, some final cuts we saw at the end of the finals, but he was banned, of course, so yeah, this draft ended up being pretty wonky, especially given that Alex played Deckard Cain, who normally is weak against burst and normally is used to set burst up, so that you don't need to have, you need that sustained healing to keep your bursters alive through their cooldowns if they don't kill somebody against more sustained damage. So it works well with burst because he sets up explosive damage with his sleep or with his roots. But they just had sustain, and Phoenix went full shield build, did not go for the Q build or anything. So there's really no burst on the side of Supernova. So it was pretty cool how they were able to make this work. It was just all about rotations, all about the shot calling from no chat, like you said.
Yeah, and I thought they may be lacking in damage, but with the CC, they were actually focusing so well. And they will continue that in Cursed, as you